Hi, and welcome to the Wendy Wu Tours Celebration of Japan event. My name is Paul, and I look after the Wendy Wu Tours New Zealand office.
And I am Rebecca. I am the head of reservations in the Sydney office.
Today we are trying something really new. We are totally live throughout today's event. So do bear with us if there are any technical hitches, which knowing Zoom and the fact that Bex is in lockdown in Sydney, we may have some issues, but we are coming across from both sides of the Tasman for you. Now, in the bottom there, you'll see the chat box. Feel free to put any questions in there that you might have for us throughout the production today, and also you can raise your hand as well. Now, due to strict rules about what private companies aren't special official sponsors of the major events, particularly the one going on in Japan at the moment, we are not allowed to mention the name of that sporting competition. So we will refer to it as the event that cannot be named. This event has given us a lot of reasons, New Zealand and Australia, for celebrating, and how many gold medals have been rolling in for both of us at the moment. So well done to our teams over there. We're here to celebrate all their successes today. So we thought we would create this event to have a lot of fun, to celebrate all things Japan, a little bit of promotion of what Wendy Wu Tours does over there as well.
So I will be taking you on a flaming hot journey around Japan's event that must not be named relay route, visiting the must-see sites on your next trip to Japan. I'll also give you an overview of our new 2022-2023 interactive Japan brochure, and you'll hear from our friends at Linked Tourism and our guides on ground in Japan.
After the presentation, you will hear about a few great specials that we have out at the moment for you to forward plan your next trip to Japan in 2022 or 2023. And you can see how easy and risk-free it is to book with Wendy Wu Tours with our amazing Book with Confidence policy. Then we're going to have a fun quiz, and I'm going to turn into your quiz master. Now, we can't promise any big trips as prizes, but we have raided our pretty bare cupboards during this COVID time, and we've come up with some fun prizes. So do stick around and have some fun with us. Now, while that's being marked and we give out the prizes, Liz is working in the background and will be marking all those quiz answers that hopefully you'll all be able to answer online as we go through. After that, I will turn all your mics on and we can have a really good question and answer session where you can ask us anything that is Wendy Wu related or Japan related. And hopefully we'll all have a great time and have a really fun look at Japan. So it's now time to get started, and over to you, Rebecca.
Thank you. All right. Let me get this started. So today, firstly, a big warm welcome. Without further ado, I will introduce you to our one-stop digital Japan brochure. So that was our digital brochure. It's a lot of fun. It's available on our website, so please feel free to go have a look at it. It'll be able to link you to a lot of the tour pages, and you'll be able to get some real insight into Japan. Now, getting to the real exciting part of today's presentation, I will be taking you on a journey around Japan, the event that cannot be named, relay route. So as tradition dictates, the flame was lit on the 12th of March in 2020 in Olympia, Greece, before being sent to Japan. It actually remained there for 12 months until starting its journey around the country on the 25th of March, 2021, through all 47 prefectures in Japan over the course of 112 days. Don't worry, I've done the hard work for you and picked out the must-visit places amongst the 47 prefectures. While you're watching, feel free to mark down any prefecture that you want to see on your next trip to Japan. Give us a call and we can tell you which tours go to the areas you'd like to see. The relay actually commences at stop number 1 in Fukushima. This prefecture is part of the inspiration for the design of the torch and made from aluminium construction waste from the aftermath of the Great East Japan earthquake and tsunami in 2011. So we're first going to start our journey jumping to stop number 4 on the relay route in the prefecture of Nagano, in the mountain town of Yamanouchi. Here you'll find the infamous Japanese macaques, better known as snow monkeys, bathing in their hot springs. These are the most northern dwelling of all monkey species in the world and can manage in these climates because of the thermal springs. These snow monkeys are famous for their intelligence. They've learned not only how to stay warm in the thermal waters, but also how to wash their food before eating it. In the city of Matsumoto, you'll find the 16th century Matsumoto Castle, known as the Crow, for its dark wooden exterior. This region is perfect for getting to know some of Japan's deep-rooted traditions. You can visit a miso house to learn about miso paste, the staple ingredient in most Japanese cuisine, and there are wasabi farms pictured just up here where you can learn more about its production. Next up on our journey, we have the Gifu Prefecture, also known as the Japanese Alps. This is a mountainous belt that stretches across Japan's main island, Honshu, from east to west. Here we have the beautiful town of Shirakawa-go with its traditional 300-year-old thatched farmhouses. The pitch of the roofs is this steep because it's one of the snowiest places in Japan, with around 10 meters of snow every year. Nearby, you'll find Takayama, a traditional mountain town with many of its Edo period buildings still intact. The beef here is said to be some of the best in Japan, as the cattle is reared in the pristine mountains around Takayama, and you'll get to try it on our tours. Plus, you can also learn how to bake washi paper in the traditional Japanese way and visit a samurai house to learn about the culture and customs of the samurai. Jumping across Japan, we have number 8 on the torch route, Wakayama Prefecture. Traveling to Mount Koya, also known as Koyasan, is an experience in itself, with scenic train journeys winding through the mountainous region, with the final leg of the journey being on a short but spectacular cable ride, as you can see here, to the top of the 900-meter high Koyasan. Set amongst the valleys and forests of Holy Koyasan are a huge number of monasteries, temples, and shrines, all clustered around the headquarters of the Shingon School of Buddhism, founded in the 9th century. To get a taste for the traditional lives of Japanese monks, an experience not to be missed is an overnight stay in a Buddhist temple lodging known as shukobu. These temple lodging features Japanese-style sleeping on a tatami mat. And for dinner, you'll be served a traditional vegetarian Buddhist meal for breakfast and dinner, which is a great experience if you want to experience traditional Japan. Next stop on our journey is number 9, the Nara Prefecture. Here we have the city of Nara, which is the capital of the prefecture, which is actually the first recognized capital of Japan from 710 to 784. Famous in their own right, the Sika deer of Nara are said to be messengers of the gods, and as such are protected as national treasures to this day. They can be spotted in most corners of the city, but best found in Nara Park, and you'll find hundreds of deer living here. For 200 yen, you can purchase deer-safe crackers to feed to the wild, but mostly friendly deers, and if you are lucky, they'll bow their head in thanks. Fair warning though, if you have crackers in your hand, be prepared to hand them over. I wasn't as quick and got a little headbutt, but it's all part of the experience of going to Nara Park. Today, Nara remains full of historic treasures, including 8 UNESCO World Heritage Sites. One of the most well-known sites in the region is the Totoge Temple, constructed in 752, and is one of the 7 great temples of Japan. It is also home to one of the world's largest bronze statues, standing at 15 meters tall. Not far away, we have stop number 10, Osaka Prefecture. This is Japan's 3rd largest city with a reputation for its flamboyance, fun-loving people, and most of all, its food. The street food here is out of this world, with local specialties like okonomiyaki, which is a Japanese-style savory pancake with shredded cabbage, green onion, and pork or other seafood fillings. You can find pretty much every other Japanese delicacy in Dotonbori Market. Also is this place, Osaka Castle, built in 1583. It is a lovely hilltop location overlooking the whole city of Osaka. Now, this city is a great stop for a night or two. Most of the tours will start or finish here, as it is one of the major hubs in Japan and where Kansai Airport is. So you'll notice a lot of tours will either start in Tokyo and finish in Osaka or vice versa. Now, here to introduce you to the incredible Kyushu Island is our friend Caroline at Linked Tourism, who represents the island here in Australia. This will travel around 3 of our top favourite prefectures on the island, so please do enjoy.
Hi everyone, like the Wendy Wu team, I hope everyone's super excited and getting into the spirit of the Olympic Games and really enjoying some of the scenes coming through, beaming into their living rooms of the vibrant pictures of Japan. My name's Caroline Nightingale and I work for Link Tourism here in Australia, and we are so proud today to represent the island of Kyushu. I'm really excited to be here today to share with you some of the highlights of this truly incredible region of Japan. The island of Kyushu is highlighted throughout the Wendy Wu Japan and Scenic South Tour, and here you'll get to spend 3 nights in Fukuoka, 1 night in Kumamoto, and 1 day and night visiting Mount Aso and Beppu. So I'm going to focus on some of the experiences you'll get to enjoy as part of this tour. But before we start, I thought I'd share with you some of the key details about Kyushu, Japan's warm and friendly southern island. Here you can expect to see lush green hills, active volcanoes, and an abundant supply of hot springs and incredibly delicious food too. It's a great place to visit in any season due to the lovely warm and humid summers and the mild winters. It's also well connected to the rest of Japan, with each of the 7 prefectures having their own airports. And if you're keen to explore more of Kyushu before or after your Wendy Wu tour, you can catch direct flights from major cities like Tokyo and Osaka in 2 hours or less. Our first stop is Fukuoka, a city where you can enjoy trendy shopping districts and lively food stalls, all located just a short distance from sacred, ancient shrines and temples, as well as beautiful castle towns. Along the coast, you'll find gorgeous beaches and quiet fishing towns famous for their fresh oysters and shellfish. Some highlights of your visit here: you can take a stroll through the beautiful traditional raucous garden and visit one of the main shrines, the famous Daizaifu Tenmangu Shrine. Here I would recommend visitors can get your fortune told and buy a good luck charm from Daizaifu, which is known as a shrine for the god of learning. For the foodies, head to the Yatai food stalls and savour the flavour of the local tonkatsu ramen, which is pork broth. Included in the tour is a visit to Yanagawa, about an hour to the southwest of Fukuoka. It's famous for its network of canals, and a charming way to see the town is by exploring the canals on a small punt boat called a donkobun, and join in with the talented singing boat punters and enjoy their river songs. And don't forget, whilst you're here, to try the local delicacy of eel, which is famous for the area. Next stop is Kumamoto. Here you'll visit the famous majestic castle, which I think you'll agree is indeed majestic. It's one of Japan's largest and is regarded as one of Japan's 3 most admired castles. It's conveniently located in the centre of the city. It was unfortunately damaged in the 2016 Kumamoto earthquake, and restoration works have been ongoing since then, and currently it is partly reopened to the public. Another beautiful garden to visit is the Shizenju Garden, a traditional style garden built back in the 17th century. As you roam the garden, you'll see the recreation in miniature of the important road that linked Tokyo and Kyoto, and it includes a mini Mount Fuji. Next, we head to the stunning town of Beppu. It's located on the east coast and one of the most famous hot spring towns in Japan. Beppu produces more hot spring water than any other place in the country, and the townscape has striking views with plumes of rising steam. It's famous for its Hell's Jigoku hot springs tour, visiting all sorts of volcanic features, including thermal mud and hot springs that have bubbled from the ground here for 1,000 years. These very special hot springs each have specific benefits, with temperatures that reach over 100 degrees Celsius, so far too hot to have a soak in. You must also try a hot spring egg. It's steamed in the natural heat from the hot springs. They steam it for about 22 hours, so the eggs are coloured like a smoked egg and have a hint of saltiness, each for only 50 yen, which is around 60 cents. We can then pop over to Yufuen, another hot spring resort. It's great for shopping and cafes, and it's famous for Lake Kinrin. Many of the hotels in the area actually allow day visitors to use their hot springs, so here you can come and soak away the aches and pains and tiredness in the mineral-rich waters. And the main strip of Yufuen is where you'll find all sorts of souvenir shops and cafes. And now we head to explore the famous Mount Aso. It's the largest active volcano in Japan and sits at over 1,500 meters above sea level. And here you can get a rare opportunity to climb up to the volcano's peak and watch the crater constantly emitting gases. Just a note though, paths can be closed depending on the activity of the volcano. There is a website that you can check for daily activity and on accessibility as well. Tourists also have another option of hiking on Mount Takenbo, which gives you a stunning view of the 5 peaks and also the picturesque landscape of the town. And for even better vantage points, there are also tours available for helicopter trips and horse riding. Now I know we can't quite get to Kyushu ourselves just yet, but our friends in Kyushu are ready and waiting for our return. Until then though, thank you for your time today. We hope you're enjoying seeing this beautiful country during the Olympics, and we certainly hope it inspires you to travel to Tokyo and beyond once we can. We look forward to rolling out the red carpet to welcome you to Kyushu soon. So to finish off, I'll hand things over to the team in Kyushu themselves to show you just a glimpse of what awaits.
To Caroline and the team in the Kyushu. It's such a beautiful island, and there's no one better to represent it here in Australia. Now, to get to our next destination, you can jump on a Shinkansen, aka a bullet train, and reach the city of Hiroshima in an hour, traveling up to speeds of 320 kilometers per hour. On a more somber note, we pause at Hiroshima to reflect on the devastation caused by the first atomic bomb in August of 1945, but also to admire the way the city has been rebuilt and now thrives as the leading city in the southwest of Japan. Here we have the nearby island of Miyajima and the Itsukushima Shrine with its famous floating torii gate, which is definitely worth a visit if you're down that side of Japan. Now, located in between Hiroshima and Kyoto, you'll find the Hyogo Prefecture and the Himeji Castle. So this castle dates back to 1333. Of all the castles in Japan, this must be the most impressive for its sheer size and beauty. Locally, it's known as the White Heron Castle, and the lines of the architecture, along with its painted white exterior, do make it feel as if it's a bird taking off. On to my favourite destination, Kyoto, the former capital city after Nara for over 1,000 years, and is still home to many of Japan's most iconic traditions, such as the custom of the geisha, the wearing of the kimono, and the very precise ritual of the tea ceremony, designed to bring calm and tranquility, all of which you can try when you're in Kyoto. It is also home to the highest density of shrines and temples anywhere in Japan. For example, the stunning and minimalist Kinkakuji Temple, also known as the Golden Temple, which is set in the tranquil gardens and surrounded by water to show off the golden reflections. Perhaps the most spiritually evocative place in Kyoto is the Fushimi Inari Shrine. In a beautiful setting, it has 10,000 vermilion painted torii gates, and the surrounding area is famous for its sake tasting as well. Now, Kyoto is full of incredible things to see. There are 1,681 temples alone in the city of Kyoto, so you can spend a good few days here exploring and not get through everything, not even to mention the amount of markets, shopping and food you can try here. Now, jumping up to the Ishikawa Prefecture, to the city of Kanazawa, if you love gardens and nature, this is an incredible place to go. This here is the Kenroku Garden, and it's one of the so-called 3 great gardens of Japan. These traditional Japanese gardens are designed very specifically to combine plants, rock and water to create simple and clean lines for the eye to enjoy, reflecting tranquility and peaceful contemplation aligned with Buddhist, Shinto and Taoist philosophy. Kanazawa is also renowned for its impeccable geisha and samurai districts and some of Japan's highest quality seafood. Heading up north to the stunning island of Hokkaido, this is the city of Hakodate, set at Hokkaido's southern tip. It is the gateway to the island, and being a harbour city, it has delicious seafood. Sapporo is the largest city on the island and the former host of the 1972 Olympic Winter Games. The clock tower in Sapporo is recognised for being one of the most iconic buildings in Sapporo, and it dates back to the 1880s. Every year, Sapporo draws many international visitors for its annual snow festival and ice sculptures competition. Photos don't do justice to the scale and the detail of these sculptures. They are truly incredible and you have to go see them for yourself. Now, Sapporo is also one of my favourite foodie drinky spots in Japan. You've got the world famous Sapporo Beer Museum. There are chocolate factories, cheese factories, and the ramen is arguably one of the best in Japan, probably alongside Fukuoka. And lastly, we have the beautiful little port town of Otaru, which is just worth a visit. Next, we're coming near to an end on our relay journey, but this is something that cannot be missed. It is one of Japan's most beautiful attractions that you may never have heard of, the 260 islands of Matsushima Bay. They're considered to be one of the country's top 3 scenic sites. Many of the islands can be reached on foot, or we suggest a cruise amongst the thousands of bays and inlets, which is a truly magical experience. And we have 2 tours that you can enjoy that cruise on. Now, the famous Mount Fuji. In the Shizuoka Prefecture, we have the magnificent Mount Fuji, Japan's highest mountain at 3,776 meters. The iconic mountain is intimately connected with so many aspects of Japan's history, culture, and identity. Now, the best place to enjoy Mount Fuji, in our opinion, is from the Fuji 5 Lakes region at the northern foot of the mountain. You can spend a full day here exploring by foot, cable car, or on a boat. You can cruise along Lake Ashi in this pirate-looking ship. Now, if you do want to stay overnight, I would highly recommend staying in a ryokan for the full Japanese experience. Some ryokans have their own hot spring spas. It's a beautiful, incredible place to stay. You'll stay on the traditional tatami mats, and sort of similar to the meal you'd get in Koya-san, you'll get the kaiseki dinner spread, which is 10 to 14 different meals, and it's a real experience in itself. And finally, a big drum roll, we have Tokyo. Few other places combine the ultra-modern and the ancient so effortlessly. It's a city built on old patterns, and in the shadows of skyscrapers, you will find shanty bars, quiet alleys, traditional festivals, and lantern-lit chicken grilled stands there. It's a complete contrast, Tokyo is. So from the incredible 634-metre high Tokyo Skytree, the tallest tower in the world, to Old Tokyo, where you'll find temples like the oldest and most sacred, the Sensoji Temple, which dates back to the 7th century, to the absolutely bustling streets at all times of the day. And then you'll be able to experience deep-rooted traditions such as the taiko drumming and sumo wrestling. And then in the evening, you'll be able to head out for a robot dancing show. You really get everything in Tokyo. It's truly a city of contrast, and we applaud their efforts in organising such an incredible event in one of the most chaotic years of its history. So claps for Tokyo. Now, I'm going to hand you over to our lovely team in Japan who want to share their insights into Sakura, aka the cherry blossom season. And a fun fact for you, the torch was actually designed in the shape of the cherry blossom, which is a symbol of life and renewal. I can't put up a photo here due to legal reasons, but definitely have a look at it on Google. It's a really, really cool design. Over to our team.
Have you virtually traveling with us today? I would like to share with you the cultural significance of Sakura. Welcome to Tokyo in cherry blossom season. My name is Hiki. This is one of the wonderful times to be in Japan, and also a time of huge excitement. Every year in Japan, around this season, focused on when the flowers will bloom, the best viewing spots and timing are huge topics of conversations and fill the news headlines. Every spring, Japanese people make effort to see Sakura. And Sakura also plays an important role in Japanese culture, reflected in the country's songs, poems, art, and ceremonies. Due to the climate, the best timing of seeing Sakura is different depending on each region and cities. Sakura is usually bloomed from the end of March to the beginning of April in Tokyo and Kyoto in Main Island of Japan. But if we go to north, Sakura is seen from the beginning of May. So if we follow the Sakura blooming, we can travel all over Japan.
Hello everyone, my name is Sakano and we make all the arrangements for Wendy-Wu Tours here in Japan. We're shooting this video from Sumida River in Tokyo. This really is one of the most wonderful times to be in the country, and is a time of huge excitement. After the chilly and dark winter, the Japanese people are waiting for this mild and bright spring to come. And the cherry blossoms, Japan's national flower, is a symbolic element that brings the promise of new life and new beginnings. Cherry blossoms bloom at different times depending on the area, but in general they usually bloom from late March until early April in Tokyo, but only for a very short time of more or less 10 days or so. We really wish to have you here with us to see the beautiful cherry blossoms, the symbolic flower for the Japanese people. Unfortunately not for this blossom, but hopefully in the very near future. I'm here to share with you some of the local customs Japanese people have in relation to cherry blossoms. Cherry blossom viewing in Japan, which we call Hanami, is a huge event for us Japanese. It first started in the Nara period of Japan's history, about 1,000 years ago, when the emperor started throwing picnics and flower viewing parties, and has become a tradition now, which is celebrated every year. More cherry blossom trees were planted to encourage the Hanami picnics and inspired poets, musicians, and artists to write, sing about, and illustrate their beauty. We picnic on all kind of local food with beer and sake to have fun with our friends and our loved ones under the blooming trees. Unfortunately, this year Hanami will be much lower key than usual, but we're still embracing it as symbolic of more positive times for Japan and the rest of the world. Not only spring, but also the winter, summer, and autumn have their own unique charms and celebrations. We hope you can come over to enjoy these moments with us, and we are all eagerly waiting for you. Thank you very much, everyone, and thank you, Wendy Wu Tours.
All right, now on the flip side, if you want to travel during the autumn leaf season, or you can't travel during the cherry blossom earlier in the year, then we really recommend that the best time to go is October or November. And this is where you'll get the beautiful yellow, oranges and reds throughout Japan. It goes for longer than the cherry blossom season, so you can sort of travel from early October to November, sometimes as late as early December in certain parts of Japan. So it's a great alternative time to go. Now, don't worry, we've got you on the specials. You can book and secure your seat early, knowing you've got the best deals available. Whether you're traveling with a companion or you're traveling solo, we have unbeatable deals out until the end of the month. So yeah, feel free to get in touch and we can tell you more about those. And you can book with confidence at the moment, well, forever. You can book with confidence. It's only a $99 deposit, nothing more to pay until 75 days prior, and you can make unlimited changes up until 75 days prior should your plans change for any reason. And that is all from me, my friends. I'm going to hand you back to Paul, aka the Quiz Master.
Hi guys, just bear with me while we just get the quiz ready here. So I hope you enjoyed that. That was amazing, Rebecca. Thank you so much for that presentation. The only problem with it is you just want to leave and go to Japan right now. But it is quiz time. It's the fun time now. So bear with me. What's going to happen is I'm going to bring up some polls on your screen, and you guys can click the button that you think is the correct answer. After you've done that, please click the submit button at the bottom of your screen as well. So I'm going to bring up the first question in a moment so we can all have a good practice on that. I can then see when you've all answered and we can go on to the next question. There's 10 questions. Then we're going to go into questions and answers. Liz is going to be marking these questions at the end. So I hope you've got a few questions, because otherwise we'll be sitting in a bit of silence while the questions get answered, or I might have to tell you some bad jokes, which, talking to my 14-year-old daughter, she does not want that to happen. So, all right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring up the first question here. So hopefully you can all see that. So what best describes a classic Wendy Wu tour? All meals are included, all sightseeing and entrance fees are included, fully escorted by National Escort English-speaking guides, or all of the above. All you need to do now is click the one that you think is the right answer, and then click submit. And then I will finish that poll and we can go on to the next question. So I'll give you a little bit of time on that. If any of you are having any problems, please raise your hand or go into chat and someone will help you. It looks like most of you have answered. I'll just give a couple more seconds. That looks good. So then I will end the poll and I will actually share the results with you straight away there, and we can see where everybody has answered. And the great thing I can tell you is the majority of you were correct. It is all of the above. So now I'm not going to give you quite as much time. Now, Rebecca has been very kind, and a lot of the answers, if you're a listen to her, she's actually put in her presentation. So hopefully we'll see lots of people near 100%. Okay, let's get this quiz started. So question 2, what month is best known for having the best cherry blossom in Japan? A lot of people quick off the mark there.
Very quick.
Very quick indeed.
Might be the quickest answer we'll have.
And we'll see how you're going. 2 more seconds and we are done. And as we can see there, we got 100% of people right on that one. So that is awesome. Well done, everybody. Now, next question. Which of the following is the closest English translation of the Japanese word sumo? So I have put a few tricky ones in there as well. We can't have everybody right. We'll see how we go. Now, I forgot to mention the amazing prizes that we've found. So first prize, we're going to give you a $50 shopping voucher at your favorite supermarket. Second prize is a bottle of lovely sake for you to enjoy watching the sporting event that we cannot name. And then third prize is a Lonely Planet guide where you can plan your trip as well. So how did we go here? We didn't get anyone answer the right answer on this one at all. The actual closest translation, that maybe Wikipedia's wrong, or I did check a few sites, it is actually mud wrestling. So there we go. Right. Time to redeem yourself on the next question. So we have got, what is the population of Japan? There's certainly a lot more people than in Australia and New Zealand. So we're looking good. There's a bit of debate here, up and down. I'm going to end it now, and I'm glad to say that this time, that most of you have got the right answer. It is around about 126 million, rounded to the nearest million. Okay, halfway there. A tricky one for the historians among us. What city was Japan's capital between 794 and 1868? That does just remind us of how old Japan is. And the amazing thing is they still live by a lot of the cultures and traditions that have been there for thousands of years. It's a good bit of debate here. And I have to say, you're doing very well, you guys. Most of you got the correct answer. It is Kyoto. So well done for all of those that got that right. Okay, question number 6. True or false, snow monkeys are the most northern wild primate in the world? That's humans excluded. There's a few of us that don't believe that humans are primates. Let's see how we're going. And most of you got it right. So it is quite amazing. We forget how north Japan actually is, but the native Japanese macaque is the most northern of all monkeys in the world. And question number 7. This one was definitely in the presentation. What is the top operational speed of the bullet train? Were they listening to you, Beth? Or had they turned the sporting event that we cannot name onto our screen? Let's have a look. I think we will find that most people were listening to you. So yes, the operational speed is 320 kilometers. It can go a lot faster, but Japanese law does actually keep it at 320 kilometers per hour. And fun fact, the Chinese do run theirs faster so that they can claim to have the fastest train in the world, and that's between Shanghai and Beijing. They run that at about 380 kilometers per hour. Okay, we've just got 3 more to go. So another really tricky one for when you're doing a pub quiz. Which martial art is not Japanese? As you can see, me and Rebecca wanted to get into the spirit of things, and I was representing the judo, and Rebecca, I think you were badminton.
Yeah, tennis, badminton, you know, bit in between there. What was in my dress up at home while in lockdown.
All right, we're just, that's good. Still got a lot of you sticking in on this quiz. That's good, even though the prizes aren't the best we've ever had. It's good to see that you are still competitive. And I have to say that, again, majority rules. Sanda is the only one that is not Japanese, it is Chinese, but the other two, which aren't the most popular, were both Japanese. So
it was a hard question, so good job, guys, on that one.
Question number 9. Wendy Wu Tour's Offbeat Japan itinerary stays in traditional Japanese accommodation. Now, I know from the EDM we sent out for this, you've all downloaded the new interactive brochure. Learn every itinerary off by heart and know exactly where you want to go in 2022 and 2023. Judging by the voting, you actually all do know the Wendy Wu product really well. So well done, everybody. That is excellent. Now, by the looks of it, we're going to have some really close calls on who wins this and who doesn't. So the final question may well be the decider for you. So here we go. How many islands make up Japan? Bit of a tricky one there. Seems to have people split quite well here, Rebecca. And let's have a look at the answer. So I have to say that the majority does not rule on this one. It is 6,852 islands that make up the whole of Japan. So there's plenty of places for you to go and start exploring. Now, I am just sending off all of these answers off to Liz, who is going to be doing as much as she can, as quick as possible, to mark these for you. So we're going to move into the question and answer stage of this. Now, it just takes me a little while just to turn all of you able to talk. So do bear with us just 1 second while we go through and allow you all to talk. While I'm doing that, I thought I'd share with you one of my fun little anecdotes of Japan. Some of you may have read this before, but I was reading about President Carter, who went to Japan, and he spoke to an audience at a university, and he thought, knowing that interpreters take a long time to speak in Japanese to the English translation, he said that he was going to do one of his shortest anecdotes, not his funniest anecdote, but his shortest anecdote. So anyway, he told the anecdote, and as soon as he finished, the whole audience were in raptures of laughter and clapping him, and he thought, this is just amazing. I've never got a laugh from this joke before. So when he went into the green room, he talked to the translator, and the translator was a bit coyish about answering him, and he said to the translator, why did the audience find my anecdote so funny? And the translators said his words were, I told the audience that President Carter has just told a very funny joke. Everybody laugh. And that's what I do love about the Japanese. They do really go out of their way to make people welcome and are so polite and everything there.
So true.
Now, I am going to see, I'm just nearly through you all. I'm just going to leave you all to turn your mics on if you can. And I'm just going to hand over to you, Bex, for a moment while I just get these results all across to Liz.
Go for it. All right, so you all can turn your microphones on. I'm not sure about your cameras. If you can turn your camera on, great. Otherwise, feel free to take off microphone and ask away. If you have any questions at all, feel free to ask. It can be about Japan, Wendy Wu, tours. The floor is yours, so feel free to jump in. Someone's got to have a question for me. Pop quiz, anything?
I've got a question.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Go ahead.
The autumn colours you said October, November, but presumably the colours are brighter in the north before they're brighter in the south, or they change in the south. So what tour would you recommend, or what time would you recommend to depart to get the best of the autumn colours?
Yeah, great question. So you're absolutely correct. So the autumn leaf starts up in Hokkaido. It can start as early as September, like mid-September, not always. As the autumn leaf and cherry blossoms, the times that we give are just a forecast. It's what we most expect it to be the following year. So it can sometimes start earlier or later. So we usually expect that autumn leaf will start in early October, maybe mid-October sometimes, but that's up in Hokkaido in the north. So it will, it will come sweeping down. So if you're just visiting Honshu, which is mainland Japan, where you'll find Tokyo, Kyoto, Osaka, that sort of area, then we would say later October going into early November. So if you get on a departure from, say, the 20th of October, a bit later, and then going into early November. But if you're going down just, if you're sort of doing Japan and the scenic south, then a little bit later, into November to get the autumn leaves. So it starts up north and then it sweeps down. So the later you get, the more southern it gets. But yeah, mainland Japan, I would go the end of October into early November.
Thank you.
Most of our tours go then. Great time to travel. Thanks for your question, Elizabeth. Hope that answered that.
How cold is it at that time, though?
It's sort of similar to cherry blossoms. I would say probably it's not that cold. It's not snowing yet. It starts to get really, really cold in sort of mid-November into December. That's when you start getting the snow. So if you're going late October into November, you'll probably get, depending on where you are in Japan, about 5 to 10 degrees. Liz actually went there in November, I believe. Liz, how would you describe the weather? How did you find it? If you can pop your microphone on, Liz. She might be busy scoring
all the questions. Yeah. No, I think it's one of those crossover times, certainly, at that time. I mean, I've been there at the start of March and we've had a little bit of snow. I've been there in November and it's still been fairly warm. I guess the best thing is to think of it as completely opposite to Australia and New Zealand as well. And especially for Australia, it does get up to quite high temperatures in the summer in Japan as well. So it's a really great place for us to keep that summer running for a long time. You can leave here in kind of April and head over for a nice long trip in Japan and stay in summer and come back here in October and you get back to summer again. So there's no reason you can't go for 3 months and have an endless summer one year.
But November is probably about 5 to 10 degrees, I would say. It's cold, but not that cold. It's still quite a nice time to go. Probably similar to our autumn temps. That was a very long-winded answer. Does anyone else have any questions? Feel free to jump in at any point. You can ask away. You can fire away some hard questions, Wendy Wu questions.
Do you have to wear a lanyard all the time?
No, we don't make you wear a lanyard. We don't actually do lanyards anymore. I think we phased those out a couple of years ago. We're also, yeah, you'll get a Wendy Wu wallet. You don't need to carry that around with you all the time. You get a Wendy Wu pen, but you don't need to wear a lanyard. Your guide will have a Wendy Wu sign, so you sort of more now need to look for the guide as opposed to being identified by your lanyard.
Yeah, and a lot of the times you'll have a little earpiece as well that's connected to the guide, so you can hear everything the guide's saying without being having to be within earshot. So you can be looking around a little bit and still hearing the commentary from the guide as well. So yeah, it makes it really easy. And then we've also got the Offbeat Japan tour, which is a Go Beyond tour as well, which gives you a little bit more freedom as well to go and explore, and doesn't include absolutely everything, but our guide is still with you 24/7, 7 days a week. So you still have that ability to have your guide to tell you where to go to places, but a bit of freedom for you to go and explore by yourself as well.
So we've just got a question from Sally come through on the chat. She said, how big are the groups? Which is a great question. So our normal groups, our classic group tours, which are the fully inclusive, are 28 passengers in a group. They tend to average on around 20 to 24 passengers per group. And we also work on a seat and a half per person basis on the coaches. So you always have a seat and a half per passenger on the coach, so it's very spacious. You don't feel like you're traveling with a massive group. And then on our Go Beyond tours, we have 18 passengers maximum. This is because these are a little bit more of immersive tours. You're getting into sort of more tricky terrain and difficult region in Japan. So we have smaller groups on the Go Beyond. And then on our dedicated solo departures, so if you are traveling on one of the dedicated solo departures, which we have dedicated dates on our classic tours where it's just solo passengers that can travel, they have 18 passengers maximum again, so not large groups at all. It's 18 passengers, and you'll find those dates on our website. It has solo, and on the brochure as well, you'll see solo tagged there. So those are just put away for our solo travellers.
And now on those solo departures as well, and if you pay for a single supplement, we do not use what they call single rooms in Japan. You get a standard room that will be the same as if you were twin sharing or double sharing. So you don't have to worry that just because you're going as a solo passenger, you're going to be there and touching the walls like this as well. You will have a proper size room.
Yeah. And Gerardina has sent a message in saying, is it easy for pescatarians to have suitable food in the included meals? The answer to that would be yes. So we can put in a request to our local office in Japan and all the guides, and we pre-request all of this food for you. So we have had every sort of meal request come through to us. So for because our tours are fully inclusive, we can pre-organize sort of the meals for you. So we can put in requests such as pescatarian in Japan. That is on the fully inclusive tours. If you are traveling on the Offbeat Japan, for example, where you have a bit more time at leisure, your guide will be able to help you select food, and they can even write down a little note for you that says what your dietary requirements are, which you can hand over to the restaurant, or if you're buying from a local food store, you can ask them, is this pescatarian? And that's sort of how you can communicate that. But in short, yes, pescatarianism is easy.
So we've got another question to tell you a little bit more about our rail trip from the south to the north. So with this, because Japan is known for having such an amazing rail system, what we've done is really done the most comprehensive tour that we've ever done of Japan. And we've tried to use different types of rail for as much of the journey as we possibly can to get you into some of those more out of the way destinations as well. We do travel as a group on the tour, and we've pre-booked everything there as well. The great thing with the long distance trains in Japan as well, you don't have to carry your bags. They go separate to you and magically turn up at your hotel without you having to think, which I think is just one of the best ways to travel as well. I mean, we do have some really great detailed dossiers on our website and connected to our brochure now. So if you are looking at our interactive brochure, you can click on the name of the tour and it will take you straight to the page on the website that has all the in detail dossiers of your day-to-day itinerary on there as well.
Yeah. We do have a question from Jenny saying, so I'm guessing vegans can be well catered for too. So veganism is slightly different in Japan. It is evolving. The food, particularly in the major cities, veganism is becoming far more popular because the bases of a lot of food are made from animal products, it can be a little bit more tricky to, in more rural areas, get, you know, excellent vegan food. It's just not widely available. So we can cater for vegans, but you can expect in more rural areas that the food might not be as exciting as, you know, perhaps in the city, because it's not available. You know, if they've made a broth, the broth will have animal products in it. So you can definitely get vegetarian, pescatarian, but just sometimes the broths hold a lot of meat in it. So yeah, the food will be more like rice, vegetables, that type. But you can always bring snacks with you to those areas. So you can always, we have had vegans travel in Japan and they very much enjoyed it. But it just depends if, probably not go in with the expectation you're going to get glorious meals out in the rural areas. It's a bit more basic and rural.
Thank you, everybody, for taking part. I hope you had a little bit of fun there. Now, have we got any more questions that have come through? Look, I'm so happy that so many of you stayed throughout this. Me and Rebecca have enjoyed putting it together. I hope it hasn't gone too wrong for you. Some of the speed issues I know happen on Zoom, but it's been a pleasure entertaining you and informing you for the last hour. So thank you for joining us, and I'll let Rebecca have the last farewell.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you guys so much for joining. We really appreciate it. We know if you are in New South Wales in lockdown, or even Queensland right now, you're probably at home and watching the Olympics already. So it's great that you can pop in here and spend some time with us. We love doing these shows, and we've changed it up this year. This time we've done a live show. So I hope it went well. And if you do have any questions at all, feel free to give us a call, send us an email, contact us on live chat, and we can help you out with anything you've got. But thank you all, and have a great rest of your day, and enjoy the 800 metre final sprint today. Go Australia.
And go New Zealand in the kayaking, shot put, and many more medals. We're catching you guys, we're catching you. All right, guys, we'll see you all soon. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.